Hello, welcome to Ofoy TV. My name is Ifya Ofoy. Today we're going to talk about the DS260. Remember that we are having a DS260 series, which is basically just focusing on various sections within the DS260 application. Today we're going to talk about the previous U.S. travel. Previous U.S. travel. If you have ever traveled to the United States or any of the U.S. territories, then we're going to provide information about that. All right, so when you come to the page where it's asking about the previous US travel, you're going to have to provide complete information, complete and accurate information. Remember that the US um, um, Homeland Security already, US border protection already have that information. So you want to be as truthful as possible. Here it is going to ask you, have you ever been in the US? Okay. If you have never been in the US, you will say no. All right. But if you have been in the US, you will say yes. Okay. So if you have been in the US before, you will say yes. And then the next question is, have you been, were you issued an alien registration number by the Department of Homeland Security? That one too is yes or no. And then the next one is, since you said yes, you have been to the United States before, then you're going to give the date of arrival. You can look up your record from online, your travel record from online, from the BPS, right? CBP, right? Sorry. You can look up your information online, your travel record online, or you can even look inside your passport. If you still have that passport, you can look at that and see when it was stamped that you were admitted into the United States. And then you will give the length of multiple trips to the United States. Then you will click add another, and then you give the date that you arrived here in the United States, not the day you left your country. Remember, the next question was, have you ever been issued a US visa? If you say no, then it's not going to ask you if you answer yes to that question, then you're going to give the date the visa was issued. Just look inside your passport to see the type of visa, and then see that the visa classification. Just look inside your passport and it will tell you the visa classification. Just use the drop down to select the type if you have it. Like if you still have the passport, and you can deduce from that, or if you remember, then you select that. But if you are not sure, then you can select do not know. And this is, especially like those of you who may have traveled to the United States as babies, and now you don't have the record, you don't know how you're going to get that record, then if you don't know, then you say you don't know. Okay. And then they will ask for the visa number. If you have that visa number, you can type it in. If you don't, then you're going to click, you're going to check do not know. Okay. Now, the next question will be, have any of your US visas ever been lost or stolen? So if your US visa has been lost before or stolen before, you say yes. If not, then you say no. But remember that on this application, whenever you say yes, it will ask for just a little bit of details about that situation. And then the next one is, have any of your US visas ever been canceled or revoked before? All right. Please be honest. Remember, honesty is key on this application. All right. So if it has been canceled or revoked, say maybe you are attempting to enter the United States and then they just pull you aside, took your passport, ask you certain questions, and based on that, they just canceled your visa, or they revoke your visa, then you need to answer appropriately. The next question is, have you ever been refused a US visa, been refused admission to the United States, or withdrawn your application for admission at the port of entry? This one basically means that, you went for an interview and the visa was refused. That you have to give the accurate information. Have you been refused admission? So being refused admission basically means that you came all the way to the US border, right? Whether you arrive at an airport in the United States, based on whatever discussion they had with you, they told you that they're going to give you the opportunity to withdraw your application. If that was ever, an incident with you, then you have to be honest. But here, if you say no, then you will go next to the work and education or training. But always remember to save your work um, to avoid losing the information you have provided on that page. If you're going to the next page, then when you click next, is going to save the information on the previous page as long as everything was done accurately, right? As long as nothing has been flagged that you missed something. If you miss something, it will prompt you that fix that, and you will put a red flag next to that question where you either missed something, you didn't, and give a response to that question, but always be in a good habit of clicking save. For that, that question about have you ever been refused a U.S. visa, been refused admission to the United States, or withdrawn your application for admission at the port of entry, remember that if you say yes, it's also going to ask you for a little bit more details about that particular incident. Please don't give the wrong answer because you don't want to answer more question. Remember, everything you give here or the information that you don't give could impact the decision that is going to be made on your case at the day of your interview. So, on the day of your interview. So, just make sure that you're being accurate, you're being thorough as possible so that you don't run into any difficulties and challenges on your interview day. All right. So, guys, this is all that is required for your previous US travels. And if you haven't traveled to the United States, this portion will be as quick, right? It will be very quick. But if you have been to the US before, if you have been refused a US visa before, if you have, your visa has been revoked or something, then you're going to spend just a little bit more time than those who haven't experienced that situation. All right. But guys, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this part of the DS260 when it comes to previous US travel. The next topic that we'll be talking about in the next video will be about work, education, and training. All right. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. Please make sure that you're watching the previous episodes. If there's anything that is bothering you when it comes to the DS260 application failing, just come back to the video, okay? There are several other sections that have been discussed already. So we are going to go on series by series. But those of you who have been selected for the DVLOE, please remember that you have to work on this as soon as possible, all right? Be thorough. As soon as possible doesn't mean they're full of mistakes. Just make sure that you are being thorough, you're being as accurate as possible. Answer the information to the best, provide answers to the best of your knowledge. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I love you. Subscribe. But thank you so much to all my subscribers, to my followers on Facebook and TikTok. I love you guys. I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.